Dad owned a property at the end of Lavers Road where Robina is, where the Robina railway station is. And that was a totally different look to what it is now. It was hills, like Gillespie's Hill was over there, Rudd's Hill was back there, Lavers Hill was over there. And we sat on a hill, and then there was flats where the farm was. We had a dairy farm there. So we got married there in '66, and I said at the time that Jack would probably make me laugh more than he'd make me cry. And that's been so. Yeah, because he's pretty funny. I won't tell him, but don't tell him. But
And he looks that way.
yeah. Because you really couldn't make a living off the farm anymore, you had to have like 200 cows and things like that. So places like Beaudesert and people that had bigger farms, they took over the farming. And so the farmers sold their properties because they couldn't make a living on them. So you basically sold out. That's why they disappeared. But Dad went into real estate. He opened the first real estate office in Mudgeeraba at the old cafe. He bought the cafe in Mudgeeraba and went off from the farm. And yeah, he had the first real estate licence in Mudgeeraba and the first TAB licence. And Jack said, we'll go down and have a look to see what they've started with, see what they've done over there. So here we are, used to going down, round past Rudd's place, down along Lavers Road. And Lavers Road stopped just past not even Elsie Lavers' house. And here was the biggest drop of ground, just dropped away for so many metres. And the whole of the farms that used to be there, hills, gullies, everything was flattened. Like a big flat where Robina is now built. So I just sat there and cried. I could not believe it. It had obliterated all that we ever knew. So then we went to the movies. We went and saw Avatar at Robina in the cinema. And we walked outside on the deck, and Jack was looking a little apprehensive. I didn't know quite how he liked it or not. It really affected me big. And I said to him, what did you think of that? He said, we're standing on it.
Could you go into that a little bit deeper?
Avatar had this, you know, they had the great big tree, the big tree of life. And it was all there, all sitting there, all natural, and, you know, all the birds and everyone flying around. And then the Americans or whoever came in and they just levelled everything they possibly could, knocked the tree down, the whole thing. So that's what we likened it to. For people who live there. And we've made a big enough mess anyway, because we'd filled the flats up and they'd drained the swamps and cut the trees down up on the hills and things, but this was big. Like to ship the mountains. And Jack's farm, Woodlands, it was lowered how many feet, Jack? Yeah.
Filled all the gully up with it.
Filled all the gully up and took the hot top off the hill, so there's nothing that looks anything like Rudd's farm at all. So that's been a big thing for us to live with. It's like being home, but then having to readjust to a new home. You know, wherever you went and wherever you go, you're going to a new place really, and you have to adjust to that and live with it.
Well, it's the sadness of seeing, looking out there and saying, well, this was like that. You know, when the Aborigines were there, would be like Coles supermarket. It was everything was there for them. They never had to, for thousands of years, they would have lived off those areas. And then as soon as we come along, we've, probably in 50 years, wrecked the whole place as far as the Aboriginals go. And, well, we're sort of the first white tribes, as I call myself, to move into the area. So we see it now being devastated as well. One time you'd say, oh, for direction, they'd say, where does someone live? So I go down to Gooding's corner and turn left. Now, I've got no idea now where I am when I go down there. You know, it's all changed. There's houses over top of everything. The hollows are filled in with the hills that used to be there, and it's just gone. You know? It's gone. Everything's gone. It makes you wonder what, in another 50 years' time, what the place will look like.